Hello and welcome back. This is day 13 of Advent of Code 2022. So let's get started then. Okay, this is day 13, distress signal. You climb the hill and again try contacting the elves. However, you instead receive a signal you weren't expecting, the distress signal. Your handheld device must still not be working properly. The package from the distress signal got decoded out of order. Okay, you need to reorder the list of received packets, which are these ones, to decode the message. So okay, we need to sort these items, so to say. Your list contains of pairs of packets like this. Pairs are separated by a blank line. You need to identify how many pairs of packets are in the right order. Okay, so we need to find out how many of these are in the right order. So let's see how we should do that. Packet data consists of lists and integers. Each list starts with this and ends with this, and then contains 0 or more comma separated values like this. Blah blah blah. So if both values are integers, the lower integer should come first. So okay, if the left integer is lower than the right integer, then the inputs are in right order. Otherwise, if the left integer is higher than the right integer, the inputs are not in the right order. And if they are the same, then we should continue checking to the next input. Okay, so for example, here maybe these two are the same, these two are the same. This is 3 is smaller than 5, then they are in the right order because this is smaller than this one. So let me see one of the examples here. 11311, 11511. These are okay, these are okay and equal. So we come here, 3 is smaller than 5. So this pair is in the right order. Now we come to the next one. We have this and this. We check one and we check this one. We compare this one with this one, which result in comparing this one with this one. And then we go, all of these are equal, so we go to the next one, which is this array with this item, like this. Mixed types, yes, so we convert the right one, which is this one, to an array. So we have this. Now, checking the first item with the first item, 2 with 4, 2 is smaller than 4, so this is in right order as well. And so forth and so on. This one is interesting. So we are taking the first item, which is this, and the first item, which is this. Then from this we take first item, which is an empty array, and here is nothing, so the input is not in the right order. Okay, now I got it. I think it's pretty clear. So let's take the input and start coding. And I will explain to you as I code along. So paste this, save it, and then read the data. I will call this parts because I am splitting based on different parts. So I would say data that is received and then split it by new line to split away, to split and remove these parts. So this is what I am getting now. Then I need to have a, for example, something called result, which will be logged in the end, which is the value that we want. And I need to loop through these items and then take apart these two parts and then compare them together. So it will be a recursive function. So let me say, for example, for let I from this and until this is smaller than the length of the parts, First of all, let me say that P is the parts at index I which are splitted by \n. So good. Now I need to log P. So you can see I have splitted them together. Now I need to convert these to actual arrays, and I can use eval here. This is one of the reasons, this is one of the places that using eval is not, such a big deal. So we would go with that. So we would use eval p at index 0, this one, and then we would say b is eval at p at index 1. Right? So I have these two values. Now the thing that I need to do, the magic happens here. So I would say if comparing a and b has resulted to 1, then add to the result whatever I plus 1 was. So I am just saying that if you compared these two values and the comparing was the thing that we wanted to be, then add that index to the result as is said here. So we have 1, 2, 4, and 6 added together, and this is 1, 2, 4, and 6. This is 1, this is 2, this is 4, and this is 6. Right? So let's get back here, and so we need to write the compare function, which is the heart of this whole process. So we would say const comparing 2 is a function that receives 2 arguments and does a bunch of things. So if the first one is an array and the last one or the second one is not an array, not array that is array of b, then we should say b is the array of b as provided in here. Here. So you can see we are comparing these two values. First we convert 4 to be the array of 4. Okay, right. So this is this one. I have one more case like this, and I would say if a is not array but b is array, then we need to convert a to an array like this. So far so good. The next step is saying that if none of them are arrays, so just like this, if a is not array and b is not array, so we are comparing two values like this case or this case. So if none of them are arrays, then if a is smaller than b, which is if left part is less than the right part, we can return 1, which means that everything was fine. If they are equal, then we can say return 0, which means that we don't care. Then we can go with the next one. And otherwise, which means that a is greater than b, we could return -1. So these are our cases. There is one more if, and that is if they are both arrays. if they are both arrays, then we should recursively loop through them. So I would say, for example, I is equal to 0, and while our I is smaller than a dot length and is smaller than b dot length. So while we're here, we should go through these items until one of them, until we get to a difference like this, or one of them is smaller than the other one. So like here, we start with 2 and 4, and then this one is finished, but this one has more items inside. But however, because this one is finished, we break out of the loop. So while I is smaller than both of them, I should say that, for example, result is the comparing of the two, a index I and b index I, comparing these two, and if the result was 1 or the result was -1, so if they were different from each other based on the comparison that we will do recursively here, if these two values were different, then we can return res, which means that the whole array is different, so we return it. Otherwise, we just add to the I and go to the next one, like this. And this while will take care of the part where we have two arrays. Okay. When the while is finished and they are not equal, so two things has happened. So first, probably we have reached to the end of A. Now we should check if a dot length is equal to b dot length, so both of the arrays are finished, and we couldn't find any difference between the two, then we should just return 0, saying that those arrays are the same. So we would say return 0. Otherwise, which is this case, we return 1. Why would we return 1? Because we have reached the end of A, but B still has some items inside, so we return 1, which means this is correct. And if this is not the case, I mean, if we have break out of the while loop and we have not returned anything, so I is not a dot length, so I is b dot length, which means that a has more items than b. In this case, we need to return -1. And this should be the whole thing about the comparing function, if I'm not mistaken anything. So if a and not b, then b should be an array, and if not b and a, not a and b, then a should be an array. If none of them are arrays, then we should compare them, because both of them are just a value here, just a number, so to say. And but if both of them are arrays, then we need to compare them recursively like this. Okay, then I will check the result, and the compare will do its thing, and I think we are ready to roll. So let me run this. Part of 1, we are getting 13. So let's see, 13 is the correct answer. Okay, let's get the data and paste it here and save and run it here. We get 6101. Yes, this was correct. Amazingly. So let's go to the next part. Okay, now in this part, you just need to put all the packets in the right order. Disregard the blank lines in your list of received packets. Okay, so we should remove this blank line here. And then the distress signal protocol also requires that you include 2 additional divider packets, these 2 ones. Okay, using the same rule as before, organize all the packets. Using the same rule as before, organize all packets, which means sort them together. The ones in your list of received packets as well as the 2 divider packets into the correct order. So okay, we need to first remove the blank lines here, then add these 2 to the list, and then sort the whole thing to get to something like this, which 2 and 6 are inside. Afterward, locate the divider packet. Okay, so we need to find these 2. To find the decoder key for this distress signal, you need to determine the indices of the 2 divider packets and then multiply them together. The first packet is at index 1, so this is index 1, and this is index something. So we should, when we find in the list, we should add 1. The second packet is at index 2, and so on. In this example, divider packets are 10th and 14th. So the decoder key is 140. So let's go to the code. I will grab whatever I have here and I will paste it here. I will first replace the 2 new lines with 1 new line so that they are in 1 line, and then I split it by this, and let me for a second do this and then log the parts to see if I am getting the correct data as I want. So this is node part 02. Okay, let me grab the sample data which was here instead, so that is much more sane. Okay, so now I am getting the parts in one place as just like this. No, that is not correct. I need to do it like this. So yeah, every line is in place. I am getting these, so I need to filter them out. So let's say filter x if x is available. So now I am getting the correct data as is provided here. Right, cool. The next thing is that the compare part is just the same. I don't want this logging anymore, and this should change basically. What I need to do now is I will have something called the arrays, and then I will what did I call this here? Parts. So I will say parts, and then I need to map them to the eval function. just like arrays. Right, this is what I want. Cool. Now that I have these, I need to push those two values that was provided. What were them? 2 and 6, I believe. Yes. So this one I need to push, and then I need to push 6 as well, right? And then I need to sort them. The sorting, I think, is going to be the fun part because we need to use this compare function. I would say arrays dot sort using the sort function of the JavaScript for the arrays, and I will provide two values, and I would say compare them, which means this one. So from this, I'm using this function, compare A and B, and the value that is returned is 1 minus 1 0, which is what the sort function uses. Okay, so let me see. I don't know if I am doing it in the right order or should I reverse it based on what is returned from the compare to the sort, but we will find that. So yeah, I think we should replace it. Let me check here. Yes, so this is the order that we want. So after everything is done, I need to say reverse. And now we are in the right order. Okay, cool. Now I need to find the index of these two, sorry. Where is the 2? This is the 6 and this is the 2. Okay, now I need to find these two. I don't want to like the arrays. I will have two values. I will call them P and Q for the indexes. And for I from 0 and until I is the arrays dot length, and I'm adding to I would say that element is the arrays at index I, right? Now if el dot length is equal to 1, so if the element that you're looking at has only one element inside, and that element also has one element inside, so it's like this. This has one element, and the element inside that only has one element, and that element at index 0, not like this, like this. Element at index 0 is 2. Then I have found the 2. So I would say P equals I, and I need to add 1 to it because the indexes start from 1. And basically the same thing for this one, and if this is 6, just add just provide the value for the Q, and the 4 is done. At the end we should have the P and Q values. So let me check. Right, 10 and 14, are they the correct ones? Yes, I am doing it right. So let's grab the main data. I believe I can do it with this, and then do this. I am getting 109 and 201. I need to, of course, multiply them together, and I will get this value, 21901. Awesome, cool. Thank you for watching. This was day routine of advent of code doing in JavaScript. If you like my video, please subscribe to my channel and like and comment. This will help me a lot. And so let's see you tomorrow then.